Morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining us for annual summit, and that too 20th version of summit. And since morning, couple of people asked me, DSCI is 17 years old, and now annual summit is 20 years old. So just to give you a background, so we started annual summit before DSCI even got conceptualized. So NASSCOM used to do that, and then we picked it up and made it a bigger one. And thanks for all the support from you guys, all the ecosystem players, all the stakeholders, government, industry, academia, startups, who not in the system to support this and make it so big in the country. Now, as Hemang has given a quick brief on that, before getting into that, just a quick check. Hope we are not recording this session. Not recording, right? Okay, so this is again going to be Chatham House format, no quoting of anyone outside this room. We have mix of product companies, Indian product companies, startups, slightly bigger one. We have some of the officials from the government side. The idea is to discuss how we can elevate the cybersecurity ecosystem in the country. And the larger thing is, if we see the biggest market, if I say, or biggest adopter of cybersecurity is government in the country. For any country, whether we take example of say US or whether we take example of Israel, the first check is generally being given by the government. Before again going into in-depth conversation on that, I just want to check how many product companies are here, Indian cybersecurity product companies, and how many government officials are there. Some of you guys I can recognize. Okay, so and other stakeholders, anybody from outside these two groups? Okay, perfect. So now if I get into the details, like when I'm saying the first check is being given by, say, government. Israel story, most of us we know, right? It's happening jointly with the government and the startup ecosystem jointly working out a lot of solutions. And then it is adopted by the Israel Defense and so on and so forth. Same thing happened in US as well. And I'm not sure if you guys are aware that after the Cold War, first directive that came out of US government was to enable the adoption and first, I'll say, make the critical technologies public. So most of the things, most of the research was, and that was 1993. So I don't remember the name of those orders. It's a long one actually. But one order came in 1993 and then 1995. And you will realize most of the companies, without quoting the name of those companies, many of those companies came in the existence after that or grown after that. Many of the companies who were there in the system, not doing such a great show that time, but after these two orders, they became so big. And couple of things that was there in those orders. One is commercializing the critical research being happening in the government research labs or in the academic institutions, could be with the defense, DOD over there, or NSA's office and so on and so forth. So they commercialized. And the second thing was, sorry, first check should be given by the government. And that has given altogether a different momentum. And a lot of credit goes to the way US ecosystem has grown to these two orders and couple of orders which never came in the public, but a lot of things that happened over there. So that was the background. Here in India, now coming to our home ecosystem, way back 2010, 2011, when I started my journey with DSCI as well, since almost that was inception of DSCI, we used to have hardly 10 product companies or 12 product companies in the country. And we used to code the names actually, right? Starting with Quick Heal, K7, Cyberhome that time, and so on and so forth, Seclore and all those companies, right? Now we stand somewhere close to 400 to 450 product companies. And we are going to release that report tomorrow, which is covering the complete product landscape. And it's really a promising story that we are scripting. And just not in India, it's a global story that our product ecosystem is scripting. But here, to do all of those things, our home market is one of the most important ecosystem, which gives chance to the early stage companies, which cannot go out, which has limited bandwidth in terms of finance, in terms of say market reach and so on and so forth. So when we enable that side of the show, where we are adopting the Indian or startups, budding entrepreneurs, then it is going to open up a lot of doors for us to expand this whole thing. Again, coming from the support point of view, if I look back 15 years from now, we used to have this kind of conversation primarily in NASSCOM Product Conclave in Bangalore. That was a starting point, and then we have hosted multiple such discussions in annual summit as well. An idea was how to have more and more pipeline coming in from for the startups. The more startups should come out of India. But now, if we have startups, product companies coming out of India, now how can we grow that? And here, as I mentioned earlier, the government adoption is one of the major critical thing. And definitely, there are a lot of checks and balances that comes over there. No issue with that. But yeah, we need to find out ways how can we enable that side of things so that we can have some flexible ways to adopt Indian companies. From government side, a lot of initiatives have been undertaken, and most of those initiatives, DSCI was part of that. For example, cybersecurity grant challenge that we are running, almost $1 million is a prize money. First version that took place 2 years back, and I can see a lot of participants of cybersecurity grant challenge present over here who are in the final stage or has been part of the grant challenge. Use case clearinghouse kind of a thing that we have picked up a couple of years back. Idea was to pick up those problem statements from government and industry and share it with researchers. That was again with the Ministry of Electronics and IT we have done. Many such initiatives have been undertaken. Even in terms of adoption of the products, Ministry of IT came up with, it was 6 December 2019. It was the last day of annual summit, if I remember that day, that year. MeitY came up with an order, which is a public procurement order for cybersecurity, which has relaxed a lot of norms for Indian cybersecurity startups and product companies so that government can adopt in a more effective way. So a lot of such things have been undertaken by government, by industry, and that's why we have reached to this level from 10 companies to 400 companies. And globally, if you look at India's stand after US and Israel, India would be the third largest product ecosystem right now. And that's a big thing, I'll say. Definitely. And credit goes to all of those people who have taken that plunge. And in Indian ecosystem, some interesting facts are there actually. Like founders in Indian ecosystem, it's quite a good blend of freshers who are starting their companies and veterans starting their companies. The CISOs are starting at the same time a fresher from a college is starting a company. And that's why our average age of the founders is 10 years. 80% of the people are coming up with the 10 years plus experience actually. So that's how it looks like, this ecosystem. Another aspect is definitely the home market, which is contributing to almost 50% of the revenue, approximately 50% of the revenue of the whole ecosystem's consolidated revenue. But 50% is coming from outside, which is a perfect blend if I see from the larger ecosystem perspective, because we are not just a domestic ecosystem, we are a global ecosystem. And many of the companies sitting over here, I can see they are doing good business outside as well. So like our ecosystem, definitely supported by the home market, home ecosystem, and is establishing their footprint in the global, I'll say, marketplace as well, which is actually triggering a lot of interesting elements in the ecosystem, and a lot of new companies are popping up. Because that is, typically we call it like animal spirit, right? If we see success, a lot of people will start taking the plunge. This is something that has already been done, undertaken. Now it's time to look at how can we further trigger that. And that was the idea of this discussion. As I mentioned, it's not recorded, it's a Chatham House. And we have people from both the sides, the startups and the product companies, as well as from the government side. And you can share your thoughts. How can we further enable those discussions where we can, few things that I have jotted down actually. It's like to enable the adoption, can we have some sort of policy enablement as public procurement order that I mentioned, or we can have some sort of sandbox like RBI has experimented, or whatnot. What we can do to enable this kind of adoption in the government, because at any time we don't say that adopt something which is mediocre or not up to the mark, right? And none of the product companies will say that. We are saying we are here and then we just need that chance because we have limited bandwidth to probably brand things and I'll say put it in that glamorous way, right? So enabling that side. But at any point in time, we are not talking about adopting something which is not up to the mark. So can we have some sort of sandbox or some sort of policy enablement, or for that matter, enablement in terms of POCs, which is again a need of the hour for the product companies at the earliest stage. And so many other things that we'll keep discussing. So that's the larger intent of this discussion, openly sharing your experiences. Some of the faces I can see here, they have done a good job with the government. From the government side, we would love to understand more how you see that if ABC can be done, then we'll be in better position to adopt it. For example, like let's take certification ecosystem, which is in a not so matured shape in India. Like common criteria certification, India became certifying nation way back in 2013, but then we don't have that kind of infrastructure that can expedite the certification process, right? So, and I can, if I understand correctly, only Anshul, you have got the common criteria certification done in India, right? Anybody else here? Yeah. So that's the thing. And it takes time. Again, there are challenges at their end as well because they don't have bandwidth. A lot of infrastructure things are required. So what we can solve and how can we solve? And what if we solve ABC, then probably we'll be in better shape to adopt those nascent stage players' technologies. Because a lot of things, a lot of use cases of the critical infrastructure, even legacy systems, are being solved by those nascent stage players. And the way we have seen this digitization as well as the AI journey and Gen AI journey, that's actually happening at the level of the smallest of the element in the system. So I'll stop here. We can just quickly have a quick round of introduction and then we'll move to the sharing of ideas. And then we'll definitely put some trigger in between to provoke some thoughts. So let's start with a quick round of introduction. Anshul, should we start from here?
Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anshul Saxena, founder of Holdos. We make anti-DDoS, WAF, and load balancing solutions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vamshi. I am an Assistant General Manager at Securities and Exchange Board of India.
Morning, everyone. I'm Vikram. I work with the cybersecurity team at the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Hi all, I'm Bhunesh. I'm from Cyber Securities and Exchange Board of India. I work as an assistant manager over there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mayank Talwar. I am the co-founder and CTO of Enfold AI. It's an early stage startup, and we are working on eliminating the cyber crimes and frauds with the people.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Amol Kalbhor, and I'm a director sales with the Seek Ninjas Technologies. We are there into the products and cybersecurity services.
Good morning, everyone. I am Colonel Ashwini, and I am currently on deputation with the Ministry of External Affairs, otherwise from Armed Forces.
I am Hardik Naria. I am working as ICT officer in Security Operations Center, Government of Gujarat.
Good morning, everyone. This is Murugavel Muthu, founder and CEO of CostGrid Networks. We are India's unified SASE company dealing with zero trust, secure web gateway, firewalls, and application security. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Vijayan. I am co-founder and CEO of Ziris.ai. We provide military-grade security for your APIs and AI apps. We are actually very pretty young and looking forward to meet you all.
Morning, everyone. I'm Captain Amit Gore. I am Director Operations in Ministry of Defense.
Namaskara. My name is Aditya. I work as electronics and IT consultant from the Bureau of Indian Standards, Government of India.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rohit Bansal from NCIPC. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karan. I am from NCIPC.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Maheshwari. I am the founder CEO of Skill Depot Technology, a critical infrastructure security company.
Yeah. Hey, this is Maharaj. I'm from Navitas Life Sciences, CISO of the company. I might be an odd man out to this group. I'm neither government or nor a product-based company, but I was looking for something like a API inventory and kind of a thing which we have already integrated with some of your product guys. I'm looking forward to understand how government is being involved in terms of cybersecurity, especially when we are in a healthcare and life science industry. We wanted to understand.
We would love to understand from you as well how you are adopting. So,
Yeah, hi, good morning everyone. My name is Vishal Kumar. I'm co-founder of Future Edge Labs. And this is, we recently started this organization. And our main focus is on creating, focusing on capacity building, especially in the area of cybersecurity, AI, and open source intelligence.
Good morning, all. This is Manish, co-founder, CTO of early stage startup called Ziris.ai, and we work in API security. So maybe we can talk.
Hi, this is Kotaram Ramesh, founder of a startup Cambrian Skillsda, and we work on biometric anti-spoofing technology. We invented for the first time something called a chemical biometric that will uniquely differentiate one human being from the other. We're looking for adoption.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Mukesh Sharma, heading Cybersecurity Division, Government of Rajasthan.
Good morning all. I am Dr. Ompal, Associate Professor, University of Delhi. I'm also co-founder and CEO of SafeQubit. Actually, we are Stage 3 joint winner of Cybersecurity Grand Challenge 2.2, and our prime focus is development of post-quantum cryptographic solutions.
Hi, this is Varun Seth, founding CEO of Matisoft Cybersecurity Labs. We provide DLP and EDR solutions completely developed in India, and also provide incident response services. Our products have been specially designed and deployed and performed in critical infrastructure and defense. Looking forward to meeting all of you. Thanks.
Good morning. I am Hardik Patel, Assistant Director IT, Science and Technology Department, Government of Gujarat.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lakshmi Chandolia. I am co-founder at SafeQubit Technologies Private Limited. Along with that, I'm also pursuing my PhD in the field of quantum cryptography from University of Delhi. We are one of the finalists at the Cybersecurity Grand Challenge, and as an outcome of that, we have recently opened our firm, SafeQubit, in which we provide quantum safe, secure solutions.
Namaskar, good morning. My name is Pardeep Singh. I'm also co-founder and CTO at SafeQubit Technologies Private Limited. As Lakshmi said, we are working in providing solutions related to post-quantum cryptography. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Manish Advani. I am advisor to multiple companies. One of them happens to be GRC Experts. I'm creator of the framework called the Wolf, Worries, Obsessions, Limitations, and Fear. I believe, companies are not worried because they are obsessed with yesterday's practice. And that obsession with yesterday's practice can create limitations and culminate in fear-like situation. So through this framework, we advise companies in addressing tomorrow's risk and be better prepared.
Very good morning and good day for all of you. Myself, Rakesh, from Center for Development of Advanced Computing under Ministry of Electronics and IT. I'm one of the lead architects for state-level cybersecurity divisions for Government of Tamil Nadu and Government of Puducherry, which we've been working, something called Department of Information Security Assurance. So, and we are looking for solutions across the platform, which can be turned out to be a state level for all the states which we are looking for. Yeah, thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jitu Joseph. So I'm the co-founder and head of cybersecurity at Bugsy. So what we do is we help companies ship their cloud infrastructure, which is audit ready on day zero, not day one, day zero. And we are also one of the top 6 startups under CISEC along with Zeris AI, which is CISEC is basically the center of excellence of cybersecurity in Karnataka. Looking forward to have a wonderful discussion with you all.
Hi, good morning. This is Nikunj. I'm the founder of NMT Security. We have created an AI CISO, which basically combines around 6 different products together in one. So now, if you look at it, it basically does your third-party risk, your external exposure, vulnerability management, compliance, all together in one platform. It's a unified platform. Now you don't need 7 different solutions it can do. And it basically provides solution as well as guidance based on the size of the industry, the nature of the industry, and the region of the industry. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Prakhar Garg. I work with Mayank at Enfold AI, co-founder and CEO there. So together, as he mentioned, we are on the mission to stop financial crimes in India, protect our citizens against losing money to financial fraud. We are also the finalists of the Grand Challenge, Cybersecurity Grand Challenge, being run by Data Security Council of India and METI. Thank you.
Hi, morning. I'm Major General Sandeep Sharma, retired last year after putting in 43 years of service. The last 15 years being with the cybersecurity field, including heading Army CERT and heading Army Cyber Group. Thank you.
Perfect. I think we have some of the folks which we have not got the introduction, please.
Hello. Good morning. Myself Prashant Tiwari. I am from DRDO. We are basically working on to provide various cybersecurity, you can say gradings and all that to various crypto products largely. And we are also doing evaluation for various IT products also. Providing some evaluation levels also to them. Like it happens in various EL levels are there. So like that we are providing. So we have our different type of framework we have. So that way we are basically providing.
Sure. I think before you joined, we were talking about the common criteria, and that's extended version of that actually.
Good morning. I am S. Bhattacharya. I am related to the defense and mainly here as a user agency.
Anybody else we have missed as of now? Okay, so let's make it like, again, as I said, Chatham House, open discussion, feel free to share. And as a opening statement here, I'll say both the sides, so startups and the product companies wants to serve our government. Government wants to have Indian players serving them. But there are certain elements because of that, there is a gap. How can we fill that? So here it's not about, there are issues in terms of not adopting or intent is a challenge. Intent is from both the sides, but how can we enable that? So that's I'll say my opening statement, and let's hear from anybody wants to pick it up. And here actually, if you see, we have quite a diverse set of people from here. From product point of view, we have quite a diverse technology providers. From the government side, again, we have quite a diverse set of, I'll say, entities. Represented by quite a senior level of people. And then, good, we have academic representation as well. So, please feel free to raise your hand and share your thoughts. Anybody? You have mic.
We all know, couple of things, obvious things. In private sector, they know what, CISO knows what they want. The features, core features they need, right? But in public sector, they have a clear RFE process, which is a common denominator, all the product specs, and the startups or product companies fails to meet the requirements. That is the thing. So we need to have few champions, like we have a cybersecurity grand challenge. Similarly, we need to have a pilot program on focused products. And then the specs can be specified as per their requirement, and that is one aspect of it. That we know, right? We can have pick the specs to the specific required for the organization, right? That will make sure that so that the startups or product companies can, comfortably, performance-wise, security-wise, everything they can meet up. So that will be win-win for both of them. Okay, that is one thing. And regarding CC, common criteria, there are level 2, 3, 4 kind of a thing. Even for, I know one of the, we also have done firewall, even for, in one of the state government RFP, even for school, they do like, entire RFP, tender process, where even for school networks, they're looking for a CC level 4, common criteria level 4. Yeah, common criteria is required. Why do we need level 4, right? I mean, it could be level 2 onwards, right? Such kind of relaxation can also help. Yeah, I think I briefly covered most of them. Yeah, thank you.
Again, common criteria, though we have discussed twice and now thrice, see, common criteria in terms of cost, if you look at, that's also a very costly affair. So there are 7 layers typically in the common criteria structure. India is capable up to EL 4 plus, right? And in general 4, I'll say. And the cost that was there for EL4, single product, single platform was somewhere around 50 to 55 lakhs. So we kept reaching out to Minister of IT, and thanks to Minister 2017, actually 2013 India became certifying nation, and since then we were reaching out to government. Since then we were reaching out to government, and 2017 during the launch of Cyber Swachhta Kendra, the botnet clearing house, Minister has announced a significant discount. Broadly they say 50%, but there are some categories of that to all the Indian MSMEs, including startups. Here, the cost was one element, and the time required for the certification was the challenge because of the unavailability of the infrastructure. And that has created a lot of trouble for product companies. That's definitely there.
Maybe you can devise some guidelines that do we need only CC2 or 3 or 4 according to the, according to the kind of use case. That will help. I don't know. That could be one of the possibilities.
So typically we say risk-based approach, right? Basis your risk, you plan your things.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, yeah.
Atul and the team, the people here, I have one point which I've actually experienced on ground, especially with government and ministries. The problem is whenever you want a product or a service, you are competing with global giants. The first problem, I'm not saying the problem is for policy. Policies, everything is in place. The problem is in execution. You want, for example, an antivirus. The CISO and the whole CISO team will recognize, knows there is a McAfee, there's a Trellix, EDR, there's a CrowdStrike. So they know, they'll pick up the phone, call up a vendor or call up the company and get the product. I mean, they'll get full support from all the SIs, from the company and stuff. The first problem to solve is identification that there are Indian players. Executive level, there should be a reach, a platform or something, that Indian companies may, it can be made mandatory or incentivized, that CISO team, कुछ product चाहिए, go and check this website. यहाँ पे Indian players category के हिसाब से listed है, call them first. The first problem is identification कि हाँ India में है. After that, definitely the second problem comes features nahi honge compared to big MNCs. Then they can handhold, get them in and prepare a roadmap. Initially a problem aayegi. Okay, nahi hai features. But if every company, PSU, government says, no worries, ye features ye, we'll hold your hand, fund you or whatever, give us at a lower price and we'll handhold you agle 6 mahine mein ye products bana ke do. I think if that execution happens, then policy, you'll see conversions on ground. Execution is, I think, what is missing.
See, as a overarching level, I'll say, these grand challenge kind of initiatives and for that matter, National Center of Excellence, right? Those things are enabling up to a certain extent. And that's again, joint initiative of METI and heavily funded programs by METI, right? This grand challenge, when I'm saying it's like a fully funded program by Ministry of IT. NCO is also a joint initiative, DSCI and METI. So a lot of things are happening on that front. But here, on this point, in terms of hand-holding, and if I slightly extend it further, the co-creation in the government. There's no, and all the entities are not supposed to probably, by design, to do that. But I would love to hear from some of the government folks present over here, how can we enable that? And most of these things globally are happening. Co-creation directly with the user enterprises from the government side or a research entity in the government doing that. So any of you...
पहला problem that I want to solve is discovery. That's the main. उसके बाद hand holding to whatever limit या करना नहीं करना, that's a second.
See, discovery,
First is discovery.
Discovery, I'll say...
कुछ platform हो, हाँ, कुछ platform exact. See, very good initiative, cyber grand challenge. जितना भी बोल लो, that remains mostly in the national capital and few metropolitans. सब जगह
not really. This time, number of companies what I have seen from say Tamil Nadu for that matter, that's significantly higher compared to what I had.
नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ customer का, CISOs and teams.
But I agree with you that we need to solve that sense, and that's why I'm saying from the government side, I would love to hear how can we, any ways where we can enable this co-creation kind of a thing. PSUs, a lot of things are happening, but from the government side, especially the sensitive agency side, can we look at how can we enable that? And wherever, say, DSCI can play a role here.
So, as you told that first thing we require that is POC. So, earlier I have experienced that 2-3 startups that we have explored, but when in our environment they have started their implementing their solution, they are having some problem. So ultimately that is not giving us solution. So first thing we require POC for that, and for product side there might be some lab environment that is having a large number of devices and network, so that they can test their solution. So POC is first step. We can say that it gives a better solution for government.
Okay, sure. So POC, I think, but many of the product companies would be interested to do the POCs, right? Yeah. So now the question is, in terms of if they're ready to do the POCs, how can we enable something? That was my point. Say when I say co-creation, sometimes it's your use case, explicitly my use case, I want a solution out of it. And many times early stage companies, and sometimes it's coming in from say academia, like Dr. Ompal is here, coming directly from the academia side, started a problem statement given by the grand challenge and solved it. So by design, if we expect like everything coming out of it, it's not possible. Here, how can we enable that hand holding so that that team or that startup can reach to the next level? Because directly that's not, by design it's not there, right? And that CISO will have hundreds of other things to do that CISO will not even, and then so many compliances, and that's also like a compliance burden we typically call it, right? CISO is overburdened by so many compliances. So then that CISO will not get chance to even support. So how can we by design enable that? Do you need any kind of a policy or any kind of enablement on that part? So that if somebody is coming with, say, there is a delta in terms of capability, in terms of features, how can we enable that? And then definitely a lot of support would be required from the startup side, that that commitment should be given by the startup as well and the product company as well, that I'm ready to sort of build that thing. It's not only like the only thing is coming from the government side, we are enabling that. So, yeah.
Actually, I have some few points. Actually, just I already worked as a former scientist in MIT for 9 years. Before that, I worked 8 years in CDEC. Now I'm a professor in DU, and my research team is mainly working on post-quantum cryptographic solutions. So actually, I have the learning of MIT as well as CDEC as well as academia also. So means from this grand challenge point of view, I know that since last 8 months, my team is working on research problems, and we solve the problem mathematically, then verified with the IITs and blah blah. Means overall we develop the solution. So now point is this: mathematically be proved. Now inside the DU environment, our solution is working. Now next point is this: if we want to go with big players, then we can't compete actually with big players. So that just now they can take the hand holding of us means actually this is just our beginning. So means for all kind of startups, just I'm not saying just from my startup point of view. So means now this is just beginning. So big players can take the lead and they can collaborate and with this government, if we talk about the government, so means now DSCI can play the role bridging the means जो भी दोनों पार्ट हैं उनको साथ में लाने के लिए एक्चुअली रिसर्च मैथमेटिकल जो भी स्टार्टअप्स ने जो किया है, ठीक है, वो एक अलग चीज़ है, लेकिन अब इस पॉइंट के बाद आगे आपको बढ़ना है, ठीक है, तो अब आप ये नहीं सोच सकते कि जो भी बिग बिग प्लेयर्स हैं आप उनके बराबर नहीं, मीन्स अब वो आपको यहाँ से आगे लेके जा सकते हैं, बाकी ओवरऑल ये है कि हमें ये सोचना चाहिए कि हम यहाँ से आगे अब कैसे बढ़ेंगे, ठीक है, तो उसमें DSCA का रोल यही है कि जो एक्चुअली अभी प्ले कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग कॉम्पिटिटर नहीं हैं, मीन्स अब ये आगे हमें उनका मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा तो हम डेफिनेटली वी विल गो एंड वी विल डू बेटर. थैंक यू.
Atul, I have one more point on to what you said. See, what you said, one very important point where I think can be achieved. Startups को आगे ले जाने के लिए, इंडियन प्रोडक्ट कंपनीज को आगे ले जाने के लिए, मेक इट अ KRA, बिना उसके नहीं होगा. KRA ऑफ द CISO टीम, एक प्रोडक्ट कंपनी को तुमको साल को नर्चर करके, अगर नहीं तैयार है उसको नर्चर भी नहीं, उसको फंड सपोर्ट करके इस लेवल तक लाओ कि यू स्टार्ट यूजिंग दैट प्रोडक्ट. यूजिंग इज मेन. सिर्फ ग्रांट देकर या पैसे देकर या सब्सक्रिप्शन में पैसा देकर इज नॉट वर्किंग. तुमको उसको उस लेवल तक प्रोडक्ट बनवाना है दैट यू स्टार्ट यूजिंग इन योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. If every organization can do one startup also, na, you will have a plethora of successful startups. और government में उसके बाद क्या होता है? I have successfully, my product is deployed in that organization. Reference से और आएगा. So customer होना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है grant से.
Obviously. So customer is always important. The first thing that I said, the first check should come.
तो KRA होना चाहिए. आप fund करके उसको इतना लाओ ताकि you start using that. If that becomes the CISO का KRA, I think that can work.
Sure. So
you said very well. See, I'm from sales and business team, so I can understand these criteria in a well manner. Okay, so in first step or the first hurdle is that we don't have experience, we don't have a client, so we won't get client. That is the biggest hurdle, right? But still, people are thinking for that कि मैं बड़ा client लेके आऊँगा. बड़े के पीछे उसके बड़े सोच होते हैं, उसकी requirement बड़ी होती है ना? So start from scratch. Beginners के लिए मैं मेरा experience कर रहा हूँ कि B2B में किया है business, government में भी कर रहा हूँ, है ना? तो start from scratch. एक छोटा project आएगा, करो. शुरू में क्या होता है ना कि हर कोई चाहता है कि मेरे पास फंड नहीं है, फंड आना चाहिए. सो दो क्राइटेरिया है, आइदर यू वर्क फॉर फंड, आइदर यू वर्क फॉर एक्सपीरियंस. जब तक एक्सपीरियंस नहीं आएगा आपके फंड लाने लायक कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट नहीं आएगा. सो एक्सपीरियंस के लिए काम करना चाहिए. और नॉट ओनली फॉर एनी स्टार्टअप, इवन जो भी एकेडेमिया में अगर जाते हैं, सो आई ऑलवेज यूज वन टर्म कि ना पीपल आर देयर सर्टिफाइड, क्वालिफाइड, बट आर दे रियली रेडी फॉर रोल, RFR. सो मार्केट में बहुत सारे सर्टिफिकेशन आ रहे हैं, बहुत सारे रोल्स आ रहे हैं. अगेन फॉर सेम सिमिलर कंपनीज के लिए भी होता है कि हमने ये सर्टिफाइड हो चुके हैं, बट क्या हम वो सर्टिफिकेशंस के बाद मार्केट में सर्विस देने लायक है क्या? उस प्लेटफॉर्म के लिए आने के लिए अपना अलाइनमेंट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. कंपनीज को उस लेवल तक लाना ज़रूरी है, या फिर हम जिस लेवल पे है उस लेवल पे जितने सर्विसेज कैटर कर सकते हैं उतने करने ज़रूरी है. काफ़ी बार गलती होती है कि है ना, हम नहीं अभी हमें बहुत सारा बड़ा करना है, बट छोटे छोटे प्रोजेक्ट्स हम छोड़ देते हैं. सो स्टार्ट फ्रॉम छोटा मतलब स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड गेट द एक्सपीरियंस लेटर्स, जो यूजुअली लोग नहीं करते. प्रोजेक्ट कर लेते हैं, छोटा मोटा अमाउंट आता है, उसके साथ खुश हो जाते हैं, बट पीपल आर नॉट गेटिंग द रेफरेंसेस. उसका रेफरेंस नहीं लेते, उनका अप्रिशिएशन लेटर मांगना पड़ता है. शुरू में कोई देता नहीं है तो मांगना पड़ेगा, जो भी स्टार्टअप प्रोग्राम है उसमें. सो जब मांगेंगे तब देंगे लोग. काफ़ी कम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होते हैं जो आपको खुद होके आपका अप्रिशिएशंस देते हैं, आपको रेफरेंसेस देते हैं. थैंक यू.
Sure. So definitely I'll pick up that point that many times you have to do a lot of things for the experience. And many of the product companies are engaging on that front. And great to see in last 1 decade, I'll say, lot of both industry, the government, PSUs, lot of CISOs are mentoring many of the startups. Procurement is one element, but mentoring and sharing those ideas, use cases, nurturing those things, that's like, and I have not seen whether it's under NCOE or Grand Challenge or any other initiatives that we undertake, or for that matter, many of you would know that we were running that industry development as a charter, which was given by the Prime Minister to DSCI and NASSCOM. Wherever we have reached out to the CISOs and the CIOs, we got open support from them. And that's actually creating this ecosystem. But yeah, in terms of experience, that actually matters. And most of the time I say, while you are working with say, CERT, NCIPC, NTRO, or such agencies, sorry, for that matter DRDO, you should go for the experience and kind of the skill that you can sort of see over there. And for many of the startups and many of the companies, it's happening. Again, so from the government side, one of the major things that comes is the GFR, the financial rules, right, which impose and then the CVC requirements, and also it cannot be like so open-ended enablement that they can just go and buy. They have to follow certain rules, and many challenges, if I call it challenges, in terms of the procurement, that comes over there, right? The experience and all, these are all sort of inbuilt in the policies. Many of the policies have changed with the time, and the government has taken that step. But again, I would love to hear from some of you, like, how can we enable that? So challenges are definitely there. And like you said, KRA kind of a thing. Is it actually possible to do that? So any of the government officials, and here I see many of you guys who are already doing it. So
I think awareness is the key. I think NASSCOM, I think last year had a program with Vodafone Global. Dilip Mannepalli from Hyderabad, I think answering your question which you brought out, that, corporates should give challenges. So I think the ones who are giving, I mean, that should be, kind of the awareness should be created. They created this challenge, how they benefited from it, those, kind of case studies or success stories, if they go out in the market, then more people would be inspired to, follow. हाँ POC उन्होंने हाँ कस्टमर ही दिया उनको लाइव प्रोजेक्ट दिया तीन चार अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट देके they gave them a live project opportunity. So the startup straight away gets a client like Vodafone, plus they are getting huge amount of money. It was, I think, close to $100,000. And from there, yeah. So, yeah, or then there's only takeoff from there. We already have an MNC client dealing with teams in London and other places.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, hi, this is Kanal Ashwini. I've been very patiently hearing everybody, and I like to speak both for the innovators and for the government side. But I'll put a caveat here. Views are personal. Okay,
sure.
So please take it in
Chatham
that
House,
stride.
nobody's quoting.
Yeah. But I need to give that disclaimer. Yeah. So see, what I can understand by seeing both sides, I've been seeing both sides, and I've been interacting with a lot of people, and I've been seeing the policies and how things have been implemented. What I am realizing is that firstly, there is a conflict of interest when I see. See, please understand, when government agency is wanting a product, and if it is a critical setup, they cannot compromise on certain parameters. Okay? So don't look at lowering of standards that, okay, let us make it at common criteria 3, 4, 2, 1. That's a user requirement. User has to decide. If he feels I want criteria 7, so be it. If you are not fitting into it, cool, chill out, okay, till you don't reach there. What I'm trying to say is that there are certain things which are required, which are assessed. Yes, if there's an over-assessment, then perhaps an affirmative action can be, or an advisory can be there from the government side or from those who are in power, that it should be, that please be deliberate or please be sanguine, that are you over, giving a criteria requirement, or the QR requirements, are they overkill, or are they meeting the requirement of what the use case is? So I think a moderation of the QR is a possible way through that can be seen. Otherwise, if user wants a particular level of QR, then I think we have to honor it instead of trying to push it, oh, bring it down, bring it down. No, no, that is not the right way. That is my first view. Second thing is, when we are looking at startups, then there are two aspects. A startup, by virtue of being a startup, is actually looking for economic stability. It is looking that it should have adequate finances so that it can sustain through, because if there is a team, they have to make payment, they have got, various day-to-day requirements to be met, and for all that finances are required. That is very true. That startup needs it. So when we are looking at an support or hand-holding from government side or from anybody, it can be a private sector also hand-holding another sector, which I don't see actually happening. It should happen. I think we should not put the complete onus onto the government. Why not a big private giant handhold a small one and bring it up to meet one of its vertical requirement? That can also be a thought process. We should, I think, encourage that. But what I'm trying to come on here is that while hand-holding, when there is no element of doubt on the future and competence of the team of a startup, if it is not there, hand-holding can happen in terms of giving it a contract and waiting for it to reach a level. But the problem is not there. Please understand, the trust deficit that comes in at times is that, okay, I handhold and I bring up this startup to do a job, and it is currently not meeting my requirement 100%, but will it be able to deliver in 6 months or 1 year, or will it overshoot the timelines? Or will it not be able to deliver beyond a threshold? Now, how do you breach this trust deficit? That is what I think we need to deliberate upon and think upon. If we don't do this, then that is where actually the hands get pulled back. You become unsure, because there is an accountability factor with an authority who is sanctioning the project. If he is hand-holding you and sanctioning a project and giving the public money for that particular project, and if it doesn't meet the requirement, then that sanctioning authority has to answer it back. He has to answer it back, reply it, clear the queries which will get raised in the audit and other processes. So how will he survive through? So please understand. That's why I said that there is a conflict of interest that happens. Second thing is, sorry sir, I don't know your name. Amol. Yeah, he brought out a very, very valid point. That please decide, you are initially looking for finances, or you are looking for setting up or creating a reputation for yourself in the environment and that requisite experience threshold, so that when you go and speak out, it is actually understood by the person that yes, he has the requisite depth to take on. Because that is another experience, that is my personal experience, that a person who is coming to me with a product, the moment I ask him first layer question, very good answer. Second layer question, very good answer. The moment I will dig down to the third level, he is destroyed, to be very honest. He is destroyed. Because if the product is yours, you should know even where the screw is fit. You should tell him, ये मेरा screw मैंने लगाया यहाँ से, इतने mm का है, इतना inch का है, इतना centimeter का है. But that is what goes missing. The moment that goes missing in an interaction, please understand that guards are up. And believe you me, please go back, introspect yourself. I am not pointing fingers at anybody. This is where we lack. And when I am saying we lack, I am speaking for the innovators. Okay, so beyond then adopting technologies, open source technologies, or there is nothing wrong. Please, I feel both sides should accept it. If somebody says, I have adopted this open framework or this source code or this, and then I have structured my entire solution over it, so be it. What is wrong in it? Nothing wrong. I also feel that one of the adversary, we strongly try to avoid their hardware and this. I'm just referring to that. I think if there is a screw coming from that adversary's country, is it going to create a backdoor for you? I don't think so. We are eating paracetamol, which is also chemical is coming from other places. What I'm trying to say is that why not adopt a method where we declare कि okay, this component has import or it is there because it is not available anywhere else. Yes, if you can provide me from somewhere else or you can help me out from this place, I can replace it with that. Other than, just in a sweeping manner, we just shoot down, oh, you have got make in ABCD, you are out. Oh, I think, so I am speaking for the innovators here, that I think we need to be a bit flexible and more practical and pragmatic when we are looking that way. And lastly, I want to say that identification of problem and the product development and the user use cases and requirement. I personally feel if you make a matrix out of it, we will grossly, actually miss the bus. You will realize user has asked for something, and there are very memes also I see at times कि ऊपर से communication gap होता ना, मांगा कुछ और था, बन के कुछ और पहुंच जाता है. ठीक है? So that is another challenge that actually puts a fear factor in this entire development cycle, or I will say in this entire ecosystem. So I'll request this, what I have spoken out is based on whatever experience I have gone through and I have seen with whatever understanding I have of tech and of the administration. And these are my views. If they are useful, I'll be happy.
No, thanks for sharing that actually. So a couple of points on definitely. So as we said initially that lowering the bar should not be a discussion point at all. And if I say on behalf of the product ecosystem working with them, as friends I'll say with many of them or all of them will not be even intended to do that, because that's not lead us to anywhere, right? We have to compete with the global giants, and if we keep lowering the bar, it's not going to serve the purpose from the national security point of view as well as our capability development point of view. So that is one. Apart from that, as you rightly said, even for that matter of that point on setting up the KRA, right? Many times that even doesn't lie in the authority of the CISO for that matter, or the security team. Procurement, as I mentioned earlier, the CVC guidelines, then GFR, and so on and so forth. So many things are applicable, and sometimes it's gone beyond the purview of the CISO, because they have to follow certain things. And if something goes wrong, then the whole burden will come on that individual. And many times that's restricting. We cannot challenge that side as well, because if we don't have those policies in place, then many repercussions will be there at a larger level, right? So, but we have to find out a balance. And on the conflict of interest side as well, if somebody has gone ahead, did something, many times we keep hearing that somebody will pop up and say, it is not delivered at all. You have taken all the risk. So that commitment, and again, this is something that I have mentioned in my initial remarks, that commitment has to come from both the sides. It's not like government is offering, or the defense is offering, or X agency is offering, all of those things, and then will not meet the requirement. And still, though we have grown big in terms of our ecosystem, but we are still evolving, right? And if we have 2 or 3 such kind of stories, then it's going to impact the possibility for many. So as an ecosystem, everybody has to give that commitment from the product and the researcher's point of view. And it's not only the product companies and established startups, it's also the academia, right? So when we have started, we have given like our go ahead, like we are going to collaborate and do something together, then whole effort should come. Tomorrow it should not become like, no, I'm not even interested to register a company for that matter, right? I'm not even interested to pull in some of the researchers from the academic institutions. And we are trying to do many of such things. But yeah, these are the things that's rightly highlighted. It's very important to look at on those things, and the commitment should, and again, it's not individual things. So like commitment should come from the overall ecosystem. That's the message that should go.
Industry require that set criteria to be fulfilled by the respective service provider or product providers. But meanwhile, in the competition, we are doing a one mistake, and I really want to stop that mistake immediately. Devalue your product. Never ever devalue your product. Never ever set a lower value of your product in competition of your tendering or anything where we are submitting the proposals, never ever devalue your product, which will impact you a long term, and which again mess up the market. So these things need to be taken care. If we devalue the product, even we will not able to meet our own base value or main mandate's cost. So these things are also there. And as we are talking about the platform for the startup companies, so we need to understand which are the other product can be a collaborative partner with us. So wherein we can एक दूसरे के हाथ पकड़ के आगे चलते हैं और दो चार प्रोडक्ट्स को एक साथ कैसे हम सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करेंगे मार्केट में जहाँ से हमारे लिए डोर्स ओपन हो. सो वो भी एक अलग थॉट प्रोसेस है. अगेन उसमें आपका खुद का प्रोडक्ट और जिसके साथ आप मर्जर या कोलैबोरेशन में जा रहे हो उसके प्रोडक्ट का इम्पैक्ट लेवल क्या होगा, देन क्लाइंटेल लेवल क्या होगा, वो भी समझना ज़रूरी है.
Thank you. So I'll come to Anshul and then I'll request Rakesh as well. So he comes from CDAC and quite passionate about the technology transfer and the startup. I'll say from the research point of view. And technology transfer is one of the element that the initial things what I was talking about, the US thing, that's actually has played a big role in the overall global ecosystem. So how we are looking at that side and your views on that. So Anshul, and then we'll move to you.
So I had a few points actually following up on what the gentleman there said. The very fact that you're an Indian company, there is a trust deficit. That is the feedback that I see. And that speaks two things, you know. One is the mindset, and the second is the fact that there are product companies who have messed up. So there is, both the sides of the story exist, and that is something that needs to be addressed. The one way I see, I do understand that, you know, the specs cannot be changed, it's a user requirement. How often is it that the user is actually creating that requirement? It's mostly the consultant, it is mostly the system integrator who's actually doing that, putting in specs of a specific vendor in order to win. And that is a fact. Whether or not we say it out loud, I'm saying it out loud. The thing is, if we have, this is must to have, this is good to have, and this is great to have, if the Indian vendor is meeting must to have, then at least take it either for a POC, do the hand holding so that they can do the other things also. That's how you are able to build the ecosystem where a product company is coming to at least must have, and then moving upwards to have good to have, and then onwards to have great to have, and then competing with the best of the world. The fact that that kind of a spec actually does not exist, rather nobody wants to also adopt it because every buyer has a choice to buy whatever he feels he is evaluated. And that is also, I understand that, but when we're talking about the government, there are certain rules. So my suggestion would be that if you do really want to bring up the ecosystem, the buyer has to take the take the mindset out, give the chance that at least the must-have should be there, and then see the solution is delivering, and if it's not, then handhold them. One of the interesting things that I also saw in private sector actually was that there is a large project. Most of it is actually being done by another foreign vendor. But a small portion is being given to an Indian vendor because at the end of the day, we are trying to solve risk, cyber risk, right? The fact that somebody a policy from another government can terminate your license and everything will break loose. So if you have some vendor, you are actually giving a small project, that guy can be, and you can scale it up, going forward. Then that is one way I see that an Indian product can deliver and as well as grow in that ecosystem while also getting funded by the customer for the work that he's delivering. So these are some of the points on the implementation of the initial point. My 2 cents on the policy point and the lack of enforcement. My experience and looking at my competition also in my space, I've seen vendors who are coming, Chinese vendors coming in as US vendors into the country, and we are buying them just because of that mindset. So if we change that mindset, I'm sure we will start trusting Indian vendors more. Secondly, even if there is that policy exists of Make in India, I have been working with the government for 10 years. Not once has that policy ever helped me. I'm not sure how it is for the others who have worked with the government. It has never helped me. And the fact that Rajasthan is also in India, Gujarat is also in India, Maharashtra is also in India, but Make in India policy only applies to center and not to the state. Are these states not part of India? The fact that it is only for center, that is a policy in the policy, which requires to be addressed. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you. But just a question, like, did you see some change happening? Because I see a lot of shift that has happened in terms of, in positive direction. Okay, sure.
जो आरएफपी होती है उसमें स्टार्टअप के लिए स्पेशल लिखा जाता है कि उसको एक्सट्रैक्शन मिलता है क्राइटेरिया में, और पर स्टार्टअप आते नहीं है, वो उनका माइंडसेट ऐसा ही होता है कि बड़ी प्रोडक्ट के लिए ही ये आरएफपी निकला है, तो वो स्टार्टअप भी पार्टिसिपेट नहीं होता है. या
Actually, some.
हाँ.
Yeah. They have to go with the large turnkey projects, mostly going with the system integrators.
Absolutely, sir is right. Like, many times when we bid, right, it is known that when you read the specification of tender also, you found out that it is not for you. Very specifically it is written that
SIs make those tenders technical specifications जो कि वो product बेच रहे हैं.
And on top
Startups
of that,
cannot compete
it is
technically.
written that startup is,
तो
it is
आप
exempted from this, it is
तो प्री बीड में आप बताइए,
You can provide a good consultant, a good guy.
प्री बीड उसके लिए होता है.
You can't reach them. It is already decided, निकल गया फिर. The fact that the tender is out means the OEM is decided. That's a fact, exactly.
So here I think a generic specification is something that we should work on,
So
right?
actually,
So
sorry sir,
Yeah.
actually startup के point of view जैसे मैंने एक और फील किया, जैसे when I was in meeting, actually I worked 9 years there, जब भी proposals आते थे तो जो गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन से प्रपोजल हैं और कुछ प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी से हैं, कुछ आईआईटी से हैं, तो वहाँ पर क्या है कि माइंडसेट ऐसा होता था कि मतलब ये गवर्नमेंट का है या आईआईटी का है तो इट मीन्स ये कर लेगा, ये प्राइवेट का है तो वो नहीं कर पाएगा. जस्ट लास्ट वीक जस्ट आपको बताऊं कि नेशनल सुपर कंप्यूटिंग मिशन में जस्ट जो मेरा स्टार्टअप उसके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से प्रपोजल के लिए हमने कहा सबमिट करते हैं. तो जब मेरी बात हुई सीडैक के साथ, सीडैक पुणे ने भी मुझे बुलाया था क्वांटम लेक्चर के लिए, तो वहाँ पर भी मैंने प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बताया था. तो उन्होंने कहा कि वी आर रेडी, आपके स्टार्टअप को हम साथ में लेंगे, लेकिन आप DU की तरफ से आओ, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से आओ, ठीक है, आप स्टार्टअप की तरफ से मत आओ, ठीक है. अब उसमें पॉइंट ये था कि काम मुझे ही करना है, लेकिन उनको नाम स्टार्टअप की जगह वो चाह रहे दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से हो, तो गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन, देन वी हैव नो प्रॉब्लम. सो एक्चुअली जो ये माइंड सेट है ना, तो स्टार्टअप के लिए बैरियर है. तो
yeah, sure, please. But important thing is to change the mindset from both the sides. What I am realizing, like as you said, if a startup is not participating, that's also a challenge. And if yeah.
Policy-wise, what you have to change. Decision makers, जैसे he said, मैंने एक को fund किया and that liability comes on me कि वो fail क्यों है. You have to, government has to understand, बड़े से बड़ा investor भी, if they invest in 10 startups, सिर्फ 2 ही success होता है. That fear, that mindset has to drastically change that I am putting in money to fail. If that comes in, then this is also precedent.
That I totally agree, because failure should be celebrated, right?
Exactly.
Again.
That's one of the biggest hurdle. Policy-wise, everyone fears that,
And this is not just government actually. If you in India, if you fail once, the VC is not going to fund you next time. That's the reality, right? So again, that mindset has to be changed in the whole ecosystem. So you have made success in raising the funds first time. Okay.
You don't have. See, all those things are different. Many friends of mine I know, they are doing good products, right? But because they are not certified. And
No, but certain certification is.
website, it's the basic thing, the website link is not working.
No, but certain certification is not for the products, right? It is for the auditors. And I myself is part of their empanelment board, so I know that. For the from the services point of view, not from product, not from product. Certificate cert is not a body to certify a product. It is STQC.
That is fine. But जो सामने customer है आप उसको थोड़ी समझाओगे बात.
No.
बार-बार कितनी बार समझाओगे?
Customers ask me also.
Product. That's then it is lack of awareness at the user's end. Right.
No mandate for
Yeah.
product, especially for financial customer, RBI related. Yeah, asking. I don't know, maybe some. They must have heard and just used the word. They must have. Awareness is lacking at their end.
That is, I think, lack of awareness at the user's end.
आप उनको बोलो नहीं सर ये हमें ऑडिट में आ जाएगा अब आप उससे क्या बहस करोगे ज़्यादा करोगे तो वो कहेगा भैया
So that is again totally. You should ask them to reach out to CERT and get it validated actually, because that's not a mandate for CERT. Even if they ask, CERT will not do it. It's not there. So yeah.
Logger very well. If DSCI and MAITI can list out organizations that can use these, winning technologies into their ecosystem. The matchmaking has to be done at your side. Because as a startup, you don't know where to reach. How many people you won't connect? Maybe based on the risk profile. If you can understand that these are the products that have been successfully come up, and these are the adopting agencies or PSUs or DRDOs or whatever that can use it, and push this inside. Let them traverse from their onwards, right? Then they know what they're going to talk, what they have, the limitations are spoken, and the path is taken right, and that adoption will be great.
So we have done those kind of exercises again, thanks to different departments and agencies who have done it actually. Just to take one example, we have done it with NSCS long back, where we got all the security agencies sitting together in a room, and all the bosses were there, and we got bunch of companies who were aligned with the requirement over there. And it was a detail. Typically what happened, 10 minutes of presentation, 5 minutes of presentation, right? Here it was like a 30 minutes given to them, presenting and coming, and the whole set of those top bosses were sitting in the room for 2 days. So those kind of things are happening. And from the defense point of view, which is, again, leading to a lot of convergence, which is IDEX kind of a program. Those things are happening. But a major thing that is definitely coming out is, one is that mindset thing, that we have to come out of that mindset that X country or X product is great. And second is enabling some sort of things for the CISOs, so that it will enable that CISO to take the risk. Sometimes the CISO is interested, but the larger setting is not allowing that. The system is not allowing that person to take that risk. So some sort of that enablement has to be there. So I'll come to you, Rakesh, and
before that, I just wanted to add something. I'm coming here for the first time. I'm Dr. Rajneesh. I am Director General, Indian International Trade Development Organization. Having served in the Cabinet Secretariat and the Ministry of Defense for close to 33, 34 years, what I can make out from the discussions going on here is there's a kind of mistrust or distrust or a communication deficit between the startups and the government and the various agencies. I feel a lot is being done by the government as of now. But what is required is that an entire ecosystem has to be created wherein every agency, whether it is a startup or DRDO or even CERT for that matter, though they have a different mandate, and the educational institutions, industry, everybody has to be together on the same line along with the government. And there has to be an open dialogue. A culture of open communication between various agencies is encouraged. But somehow at the ground level, it is not happening. I think this is required to be done, and the day we are able to do that, we will be able to develop that kind of confidence in the minds of the startups, and we have no dearth of talent available in this country. So that kind of synergized approach is required. That is the need of the hour. हर एक आदमी अपने compartment में काम कर रहा है. Compartmentalization is not going to work any longer. Defense sector में it is working, it is doing very well, and I think in the other sectors also this is required to be done. That's just I just wanted to add.
And that's one endeavor. This is one endeavor towards that, to bring everyone together and openly talk about it, right? Sometimes it's like we want to do, but we don't know, right? What is the expectation from both the sides? And I think this kind of a thing we can frequently do. And it's not about challenging anybody from both the sides or all the sides, I'll say. It is about sharing the things, and so that we can enable that aspect.
गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम का एक सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये भी है कि आप देखो जैसे जो भी IITs या जो भी अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, जो भी बच्चे PhD कर रहे हैं, रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, तो आप जनरली देखोगे कि उनका मेन फोकस होता है कि रिसर्च पेपर्स, ठीक है, और रिसर्च पेपर्स उनका मेन फोकस है, उनका प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट नहीं होता, ठीक है। और यदि हम R&D इनमें रेवेन्यू की हम बात करें तो जो भी टॉप इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनका R&D रेवेन्यू एक तरह से नेग्लिजिबल है इन कंपेयर टू अदर कंट्रीज। अदर कंट्री जो भी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं उनके कंपैरिजन में अपने जो भी टॉप यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं मेनली दे आर डूइंग द थ्योरेटिकल रिसर्च, और उसमें उनका मेन फोकस है रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिकेशन के, उससे उनका PhD स्कॉलर्स का PhD कंप्लीट होगा, ठीक है। यदि आप ये सपोज मैंडेटरी कर देते हो फॉर एग्जांपल कि 10% आप जो भी है मिस किसी भी इंडस्ट्री को लेके आना पड़ेगा, आपको एटलीस्ट वन इसमें लाना पड़ेगा, तो उसमें क्या होगा कि प्रोडक्ट पर भी उनका फोकस आएगा। अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि प्रोजेक्ट क्लोज होता है, रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश हो जाते हैं, बस थीसिस सबमिट हो जाती है, दैट्स ऑल, ठीक है। तो एक्चुअली इस माइंडसेट से बाहर आना पड़ेगा, तो उसमें इंडस्ट्री को आपको साथ में लाना ही पड़ेगा, ठीक है। यदि आप साथ में लाते हो तो एक्चुअली इंडियन गवर्नमेंट चाहे कितना भी बड़े बड़े प्रोफेसर कुछ भी कहें, लेकिन उनके आप सिर्फ रिसर्च पेपर्स देखो, बड़े बड़े रिसर्च पेपर्स मिलेंगे, ठीक है, फॉर्मूले मिलेंगे, थ्योरम्स मिलेंगे, लेकिन बस वहीं पर उनके रह जाते हैं, उससे आगे फिर नहीं जाते। लेकिन इसको आपको आगे लेके जाना है उस नॉलेज को, तो गवर्नमेंट को आगे आना पड़ेगा।
See, thanks for that actually. And coming from government and now academia and now startup as well. So you have blend of everything. So thanks for sharing that. And that's actually, it's a global challenge. Yeah. So just to add a couple of things here. So see, this is a global challenge.
Just I am basically from MIT, but looking at for IT of Niti Aayog. Regarding actually my past experience with the startup, because startup is now is they are entitled for participation in all the tenders, even actually small one to big one. But the main issue is suppose if they are actually fail to honor their commitments, you cannot catch anybody, because they are actually not paying any EMD also. So financial also you cannot punish them. You won't get any this one.
But that's the risk we have to take, sir, at the national level. If we don't take that risk,
just I want to share on the practical experience actually I'm telling. See, Niti Aayog actually, we actually put the RFP for the hiring of the cabs for the officials, from the transportation to home to office, back to their residence. Because of the purpose given by the government of India for startup, so without any EMD they entered. As per L1 basis, they got the order also. You won't believe actually just 3 days only they actually supply the vehicle. Fourth day actually no one was actually turned up. No officer was reached on time. Then actually no one was ready to reply also. Their phone number, everything is switched off. That is the main factor actually, that is a problem.
So my submission here would be, we are not talking about L1 here. So technical, we are not saying that reduce the technical qualification, right? So once it has met the technical qualification, then whatever it's QC, BS or whatever you have to follow, right? But at the same time, some level of risk we have to take at the ecosystem level. If we don't take that risk, we cannot grow.
Don't let one bad experience, generalize that to the whole startup.
And especially in deep tech
So
and cyber falls, I'll just quickly. So, okay, it's like at a deep tech level, and I'll just share. In deep tech startups, we have somewhere around 4,000 total. 10% is cybersecurity, and 10% is huge if I say. Total count, if I remember it, it's a couple of months back's number actually. 10% is cyber. Given the geopolitics situation going on, given the whole scenarios across the globe, if we don't nurture this segment, we are not going to have that core capability is getting developed. And that is only possible. And deep tech is again two things. One, the gestation period of those research, and second, the risk of failure. And as a system, as an ecosystem, I'll say we have to take that risk. And that I'll say that's the most important thing that we have to do. And couple of I'll say stories will come up with which is not so positive, right? But again, that won't define our ecosystem because it has reached to a level. But yeah, thanks for sharing your experience. It's good to know everyone about it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so thank you. And we've been talking about the problems and we've been talking about the solution as well. So it is a mix and match of both here. And how do we put it together? So I love the way Atul started understanding the ecosystem where the success stories of different countries. So ecosystem has been the key word here. So we need to understand what is ecosystem in India. We at large are trying to replicate or imitate certain success stories, which is in US or Israel or elsewhere. I'll take two examples, like gentleman was saying, there is an RFP which says I need EAL4 instead of 2. That could be possibly because the gentleman copied from somewhere else. Without even understanding, my product needs this level of product qualification for my use. So this I have literally seen many times RFPs are copied without CISOs understanding am I doing the right job for my ecosystem. Second is the other gentleman who raised it. So many of them are precisely captured to pointing to one. So while studying this ecosystem in the US or the European Union and later, recently Chinese development this, the two report he has mentioned is 1993 by Clinton for enabling the economy through technological adoption. For the cybersecurity, the report was 1997, which was rolled out, and they pegged for $1 billion from 1999 to 2004. And that period has drastically changed the cybersecurity ecosystem of the US, and still we are utilizing that success story. So the government will have to invest. I seriously wish. So the views are very personal. Even I make a wish list based on what has been done here. And they have created a legal language. What is a common term of reference? We are talking about different terms here. What is the term which we can exchange? We need to have a cybersecurity law and data security law, which becomes a common platform for both of us. This is the expectation of the government for the user agencies in this country. So once an ecosystem is developing a product for the problem which we need to solve, this report is solving the problem America faced. That created vendor ecosystem. Now we are consuming those products in our ecosystem without understanding what my problem is. That's when the replication of RFPs seriously happen. So do we have a framework? Like I said, the terms and definitions are very common. But when I go and tell a government department, you need to have capability and capacity to take care of your own cybersecurity needs, they just say, I'm trying to build a cert, state cert. The language is different. The state cert, the word coined by Carnegie Mellon University, computer emergency response team has been replicated in everywhere. But we miss the term. America has something called CISA, Critical Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, Critical Infrastructure Security Agency. But we are not replicating that kind of a model here. So when ISAC comes, we replicate that here. So we need to see what is the framework which we need to adopt here. So that comes a problem, do we have standards? America does that with NIST. It is open standards, which helps those standards to be adopted by anywhere in the world. The product which is developed in the US follows. Now, BIS representatives here, we need to endorse standardization, which becomes a common language for adopter, user, as well as the developer agencies. So that will also bridge the common terms of reference. The third one is the benchmarking. We have 2013, we were the 47th member of CCRA. So level 4 was a capability we demonstrated so that the product evaluated in India can be placed anywhere in the world who is a member of CCRA. But India has a capability of assurance up to level 7, but which is not known. STQC does that. So we need a common benchmarking system here. That ecosystem has to be elaborated, something like CVMP, Cryptographic Module Validation Program, which is catching up right now. Unless that comes, we cannot have a cryptographic model for even post-quantum cryptographic solutions to be used, consumed, and exported. When you talk about export market is governed by agreements. I forgot the name. Wassenaar agreement or, yeah. Dual use technologies, right? So when we consume, this is the regime. So if we have to have this, mass market products can come up. Now, the key important thing is a supply chain issue which we are focusing here. Why is India developing an ecosystem for startups? So supply chain is the biggest issue right now. And that is questioning how can we trust? That is another word, distrust and trust. So for trust, we need to have the benchmarking, and we need to ensure the products which we consume are indigenously developed so that the trustworthiness of the system, because of the backdoor entry of the solution, doesn't really affect our economy, our citizens, our ecosystem. So in the state level, we have pitched for 8 modules. One is the governance, risk, and compliance. The unit will have to understand the governance requirement and risk compliance requirements, and they will monitor the policy enforcement. Now, they will direct all the state departments to ensure this is the directive you need to follow. The second module is the security monitoring.
Sorry for interrupting, sir. We
Not an issue.
are just running out of time.
Yeah, I'm just finishing in
Just
1 minute.
wrap
This
it
is the
up.
last pitch.
Yes, please.
The second is the security monitoring. We simply call it SIME solutions, SOR solutions, plug it in your environment, it's going to solve it. But do we have an ecosystem where we understand our assets in our place? Do something like CPE, CVE, CVSS for rating, which is an American term, which is a pioneer term, and we are using it. Do we have something similar to this? No, we have to use it. So do we have a national asset list of that? Of course, national agencies are having it, but we still rely on CPE, which is the US-based, and China has its own version. So second is security monitoring. So if you're positioning solution, SIME or a SOR, we are clubbing it. It is more of an incident response. The third is incident handling and response. Both of them need intelligence. Now again, a product is clubbed as a threat intel platform, but it is a totally third intelligence unit every state needs to have as global threat intelligence monitoring unit. But again, it has been done by critical infrastructure monitoring agencies, CERTs. We again just consume it as a product or a service or a subscription. Fourth is security assessment capability. Organizations are not developing their own in-house capabilities. Similarly, states are not developing their own in-house capabilities. And that's what gentleman was asking. Certain assess for company organizations' capability to do security assessment. Now, every organization can have an internal team. Do we have it? No. We just do a third-party or a second-party assessment. Fourth is help desk training and communications, which will be the unit who will be coordinating among all this. Then comes a forensic. So then comes a coordination committee, which is the 8th module. This can seriously help every state to have a common term of reference. Now, if someone wants to pitch for a product, they can plug in one of these areas, and that will be easy sale. And our ecosystem are well built, and sir was saying they are in modular fashion. So we'll have to knit this together as a common framework, as a common term of reference through standardization. Thank you.
Sure, thanks a lot, and thanks for sharing a lot of detailed insights. I'll pick one actually. We have to contextualize a lot of things. Honestly speaking, a lot of things to learn from, say, Israel, but I'm not too big of a fan of replicating Israel model in India, right? We have to contextualize in our context, where, say, in Israel, they have this Telpiot model and all those things, and then people fighting or going through the training for 7 years under Telpiot, developing so many products. We don't have that kind of thing, right? We cannot just replicate it. But yeah, we have to learn a lot of things from those developed startup ecosystem and contextualize in our Indian context and do it. One important thing is, like, for that matter, learning from, say, US, all these orders and everything, they have created a brilliant model of InQtel, which is the CIA arm of funding startups. And many of the giants are coming out of that funding. And interestingly, I don't know if you guys know, so this funding is not like $1 billion funding. Typically, they do $1 to $2 million funding. And but the support that they extend, because of that, many of the giants that we see here, without taking the names, these are doing a great job actually in terms of technology. So, and I'm a big proponent of that. If we can have something like InQtel in the country, and pushing from last couple of years, hopefully one day we'll see that. But yeah, not just like InQtel, but we got some of the initiatives which are actually giving some initial funding to the startups, for that matter, IDEX, Grand Challenge, and so on and so forth. They are actually doing that. Even METI's grant for the R&D, those kind of things are actually enabling those kind of support. But yeah, definitely we need to have more and more from both the sides. Just to conclude, it's so many things we have discussed, so I'm not going to articulate each one of them. Team has noted down without mentioning your names. We'll probably create a short note on that, and we'll go back to each one of you to discuss that. If you want to discuss further on that, which you might have not got chance to highlight here, feel free to reach out to us. And if you don't have our contact details, we'll be love to share that. And we keep doing this kind of exercise at more places, not just in Delhi, otherwise as well. Recently, we have done something in Bangalore. We'll probably go to the tier 2 cities as well, wherever we have not, where we don't have this ecosystem, but wherever we have bunch of companies, 2-3 companies, we'll try to do that. But yeah, as a last point, I'll say commitment is there from both the sides, intent is there from both the sides, and just not in, say, startup and the government, I'm saying. It's like, when I'm saying both the sides, it's like whole ecosystem is intending towards the same objective. Making India as a global hub for cybersecurity. That's the whole intent, right? DSCI is putting that effort, METI is putting that effort, whole the government entities are putting that effort, startup ecosystem, academia, everybody is intending towards that side. The only thing is we have to come together and find out those deltas which we can bridge and expedite, or probably, I started calling it, now it's not time for the leapfrog, it's probably the pole vault that we have to take. And we are at that juncture where we can take that pole vault. So I'll stop here, and thanks for your contribution and candid feedbacks on that. And I would love to hear from each one of you, not just here, going forward, and hope you'll enjoy the AISS going forward. It's just like a slightly lighter day of these 3 days show. Probably you'll enjoy it and it would be fruitful for you guys. Thank you for joining us for this discussion. Looking forward to engaging with you all.